Hello everyone, welcome back to Reverse Lens. In today's session, I will talk about the national election and the referendum taking place in Bangladesh in February 2026 and how that very non-inclusive election is being certified by some international body, and the international body I'll be talking about today is European Union Election Observing Mission. So, the European Union Election Observation Mission, they have something in their website to talk about how do they monitor this kind of election. So what they said in the website, in the course of its activities, it would engage with the election administration, political parties, the judiciary, civil society, and the media. The mission would also assess the overall scope of political and civil participation, including the participation of women, youth, and other vulnerable groups. Now, is the European Union, the Election Observation Mission, is doing all these nice things? Let's see. On 11th of January, the European Union Election Observation Mission organized an event in Dhaka to mark the start of their mission. And at this event, disregarding all the international norm, not taking account of any other international standard, they came up with a very strange definition of an inclusive election. So, on 12th January, the head of mission, EREF, said that, in their view, inclusivity means the inclusion of all social groups in Bangladesh, such as women, ethnic minorities, religious minorities, and regional parties, by participatory. They said they meant a credible presence of voters. Now, in the past, the other European Union high commissioners and other people, they claimed they would claim an election inclusive when all the political party is participating in the election. So, of course, the journalists, they asked them that question, and their answer was, as I said, very strange. So that same person responded that by inclusivity they meant everything. Citizens being able to vote and transparency in vote counting. As for participation, they said that no party registration is an issue. They know this is historically a complex matter in Bangladesh. They will not comment on these matters. If this affect voters' turnout in the election, they will take that into account. They are not here to comment on the historical context of election. They were aware of that issue and are monitoring it. So, in other words, what are they effectively saying is they're okay to certify that Bangladesh national election 2026 an inclusive one when the largest political secular party, Army League, is not allowed to participate in that election. I do not know how this is possibly an inclusive one. To me, it is far, far away from being inclusive, but do not take my word. Let's talk about what the other international standards talk about inclusivity. Now, there are established mechanisms under international standard to determine wherever the international is inclusive, a pluralistic, fair, and valid election as well. These mechanisms include the OSCE Copenhagen document, the ODIHR handbook for the observation of elections developed on the basis of that document, the Interparliamentary Union's Declaration on Criteria for Free and Fair Election, IPU, and the UN Declaration of Principle for International Election Observation. So I will talk about the Copenhagen document first. Now, the Copenhagen document or Copenhagen commitments are internationally recognized political documentation that is used by other international bodies such as European Union, UN, and other international bodies as well. They establish genuine political competition and how important it is not only taking account of the voter presence, to the Copenhagen commitment, participation of major political parties, all political parties are very important as well. Now, that in the document, the clause 5.1 says, free elections that will be held at reasonable intervals by secret ballot or by equivalent free voting procedures under conditions which ensure in practice the free expression of the opinion of the electors in the choice of their representative. Now, pay attention to the last part, the choice of the representative. If we think about the context of Bangladesh, it literally means the segment of voters that supports Awami League, they cannot vote for their choice of representative because Awami League is not allowed to participate. So the election is very much questionable already if we think about only one clause of Copenhagen commitment. Then 7.5, it says respect the right of the citizen to seek political or public office individually or as representative of political parties or organization without discrimination. Again, where is our where are our political candidate for our leagues? If they want to participate in the election, what choice they have? They do not have any choice because the party they're affiliated to, this party is not participating in the election. And not only that, the other political parties they participating, they already claimed if any Awami League member want to participate in the election individually, they will not be allowed to participate as well. So again, Copenhagen document is clearly on the other side of how the Bangladeshi election is taking place. Then if we come to 7.6, respect the right of individuals and groups to establish in full freedom their own political parties or other political organizations and provide such political parties and organizations with the necessary arrangement, legal guarantees to enable them to compete with each other on the basis of equal treatment before the law and by the authorities. So, Bangladeshi authorities, the current interim government of Bangladesh, they have to abide by that clause and make sure that Awami League has equal opportunity to participate without any discrimination, but it is not happening. And also 7.7, 7.8, it is talking about guarantees across the media for all political parties, guarantees of doing their publication, their publicizing of their election mandate, and nothing is taking place in Bangladesh. Now, not only participating in election is a distant question. Awami League is not even allowed to do some very ordinary political activities that any political party is supposed to do without any fear or without any sort of discrimination. So some very ordinary political activities such as a political seminar or procession or any kind of meeting, they're banned of doing so. Now, somebody might ask the question, raise the question saying Bangladesh is not a signatory for the OSCE Copenhagen commitment, so they are not abide by the law. They may not be, but the European Union election observation mission, they are. So they cannot ignore the fact that Awami League is not given not only a fair chance, not a chance at all to participate in the election. Now, the Copenhagen commitment state clearly an election is not merely a voting process. It is a reflection of freedom, pluralism, and genuine political competition. Then, in the clause 6, here comes one of the most important part of this commitment. It says, The participating states declared that the will of the people, freely and fairly expressed through periodic and genuine election, mark the word periodic and genuine, is the basis of the authority and legitimacy of all government. Now, here I draw your attention to two words, periodic and genuine. Periodic, I understand, but if we think about the other clauses that I have mentioned, if we consider those clauses, can we come up with the summary of that election that is taking place in February is not genuine because the largest party, I am echoing myself again, the largest party of Bangladesh is not participating in this election. Okay. Now let's come to another one, as I says, ODIHR election observations. Now, ODIHR, they come up with some manual of election observation. One is their core election manual, and they do some other election handbook as well. Now, ODIHR addressed political participation both through its core election observation handbook and through specialized handbook. Now, those other handbooks. One of the handbook is Handbook on Monitoring and Promoting Women's Electoral Participation. This tool provides a systematic framework to assess if the women are participating in the election as a whole, not as a mere voter, but also as a candidate as well. Now, let me give you some stat of how women are participating in the February election in Bangladesh. Out of 2,568 candidates contesting the election, only 109 are women, representing only 4.24%. Most political parties did not nominate a single women candidate, and Jamaat-e-Islami is one of them. Even the party that claims that 40% of its leadership is female did not nominate any women. Of the 109 candidates participating in the election, 37 of them are not nominated by any political parties. They are participating as individual candidates. Now my question to the European Union Election Observation Mission, have they taken account of this? Have they spoken to the government about this? Have they spoken to the political parties and shared their view about it? Does not look like, at least I haven't read any news of it. There is another handbook of monitoring and promoting the participation of the minorities. And in that handbook, they speak about how the minorities representation is very important in the election, not only as a voter, as a candidate as well. Now, dear viewers, I can say only a very few candidates from minorities, either religious or ethnicity, participating in the election. Again, European election observing mission, they're not taking account of this matter either. And they also said about political pluralism. They say the electoral process should be conducted in an environment characterized by political pluralism, where voters are presented with distinct and genuine political alternative from which to choose. Now, again, none of them are being maintained in the 2026 February election of Bangladesh. Again, the European Union Election Observation Mission, who are supposed to uphold those principles, they are not talking about any of this. They are declaring this election as an inclusive one. Now let's talk about the Interparliamentary Union IPU. IPU has 9 core provisions relating to election. Provision 3, where it speaks about rights and responsibilities related to candidacy. Clause 3.1, it says everyone has the right to take part in the conduct of public affairs of their country and to enjoy equal opportunities to stand as a candidate in election. Is it happening in Bangladesh? No. Um, 2. Everyone has the right to join a political party or organization for the purpose of contesting election. Again, the suitable candidates from Army League, they're not allowed to take part in the election just because they are affiliated with Army League. Then it says everyone, individually and in association with others, has the following rights to express political opinions without any interference. Not happening. Viewers, not happening. Awami League is banned in Bangladesh. They are banned to do any political activities in Bangladesh. Any kind of media, um, they are not simply allowed to publish any news about Awami League. Otherwise, they will be in serious trouble. Legally, they will be in serious trouble by the mob as well. Now, if I take into attention a very, very important clause of IPU, if you forget everything I have said so far, please remember this because it is very important. It says, every individual or political parties whose candidature, party, or campaign rights are denied or restricted shall be entitled to appeal to a jurisdiction competent to review such decisions and to correct errors promptly and effectively. Now, my question to European Union Election Observation Mission. Can you please tell me and the other ordinary people in Bangladesh what kind of opportunity Awami League receive to appeal on the ban that imposed on them without any kind of legal measure? No, Awami League was not given any opportunity to contest the appeal and to present their case. And just to let the viewers know, there are no legal authorized bodies are there in Bangladesh to judge or assess our League case because it is established by not only the local measure, many international organizations, they said the trial process that is taking place against the Awami League chairperson Sheikh Hasina and Awami League, that those courts are not following the proper legal procedure. So basically, ICT and other court, they're functioning in Bangladesh. There are some kangaroo court with predetermined outcome. So again, European Union Election Observation Mission, they completely ignored that very important clause of interparliamentary union and they are not raising their voice against what happened with Army League. Now, if we talk about the European Union Election Observation Mission, it conducts its activities in accordance with the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation adopted by the United Nations in 2005. In that document, Clause 2 says everyone has the right and must be provided with the opportunity to participate in the government and public affairs of his or her country without any discrimination prohibited by international human rights principle and without any unreasonable restriction. Again, as I have mentioned, the restriction that imposed in Awami League not only unreasonable, It is very illegal by every legal measure as well. And the European Union Election Observation Mission is ignoring this fact. Clause 5. International election observation evaluates pre-election, election day and post-election periods through comprehensive long-term observation employing a variety of techniques. Now, the European Union Election Observation Mission, and they have a long plan. They deployed some people in Bangladesh for a long time. They will monitor election and maybe some after election process as well. But can I just ask that European Union mission, what are they doing about the pre-election situation in Bangladesh? Anybody who read news from Bangladeshi media or international media as well, everybody know that Bangladesh is in a chaotic situation. Last 30 days, at least 12 members of minority community been murdered in a brutal way, and it is now an internationally established fact that there are a genocide taking place in the Hindu community in Bangladesh. So is the European Union Election Observation Mission, are they saying or doing anything about it? Does not look like. The whole law and order situation, it is completely collapsed. It's broken on its core. People are dying every day, and nothing is happening to stop that. And not only minorities, other group of people, they are being targeted as well. The Awami League leaders, they are being murdered in the jail as well. And there is a pogrom that is announced against Awami League. So the pre-election situation is terrible in Bangladesh, but of course that European Union Election Observation Mission is not doing anything about it. And if we talk about another very important clause, it is the clause 6. It says no one should be allowed to be a member of an international election observer mission unless that person is free from any political, economic, or other conflicts of interest that would interfere with conducting observation accurately and impartially. Now, here is the thing. And that election observation mission, they had had a meeting with Muhammad Yunus, the current head of interim government of Bangladesh, and after that meeting, his press secretary Shafiqul Alam, he said that European Union, those members, they haven't spoken about Awami League at all, which is against all the core values that I've been talking about. Not only that, he mentioned something very disturbing. He mentioned one of the member of European Union election observation mission. They actually said the referendum, the yes part of the referendum is very good because it will help to do some sort of change in Bangladesh. Now, how this is impartial? Though the election observation mission of EU, they said referendum is out of their legislation, they cannot make a positive comment about one part of referendum. It makes them not impartial. It shows that they are in conflict of interest. How that person is still being allowed in that mission anymore? It should not be. So as a member of Bangladesh ordinary people, I require an answer from the European Union Election Observation Mission. What have you done about that person who actually praised some part of the referendum and kind of motivated people to vote yes for the referendum? Is this person still part of your team? How? And how you are claiming that your team is impartial after all this? And as far as I know, that European Union election observing mission, um, they are in Bangladesh with the expenses of Bangladesh government. I'm sure that economic part of that clause I've just read, it is against goes against the conflict of interest. So far we have established that election and the European Union election observing mission is not doing what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to uphold the value of all the election standard, but they are not. They are giving a very positive seal of this election, claiming it is an inclusive one. I do not know how. But may I mention why they are doing this? All I can say, those international bodies, after the election, because I know ordinary people, they do not want to vote where Awami League is not present. But by somehow, if the BNP Jamaat, they somehow manage to get some voters in election day with some legal or some illegal measures, if they can show that there are adequate turnout of voters in the election, European Union will leave with a positive remark, positive certification saying that election was inclusive, and the European Union election observing mission will leave Bangladesh, giving it a positive seal. And then Muhammad Yunus and the future government will take this, will sell this to other international and national body, claiming that the election was inclusive. But my question to you viewers, if you are a voter of Bangladesh or if you are not a voter of Bangladesh, do you believe an election can be claimed inclusive in this very dodgy, very shady manner? So, I'm not going to give you the answer. I will leave that answer to you, and I know you will know the answer by yourself. Thank you for being with me for this video. Please subscribe to my channel Reverse Lens to be updated with what is happening in Bangladesh and in other part of the world as well. Thank you very much. See you next time with this topic or any other topic. Who knows? Bye bye. Joy Bangla.